We just created a report definition for yesterday's sales. Let me show you how easy it is to create another definition by copying what we just did. So I'm going to click on the report definitions block on the navigator, and you can see our definition here, prior day's sales. All I'm going to do is hit the copy button and select that new copy. I'll double click, which will bring up the report definition detail, and let's rename the definition to last week, sales summary last week. We're going to leave the report design alone, and we'll change the title to prior week sales summary. And the only real thing that needs to be done here in the parameters is to change this dynamic date from yesterday to last week. Okay, we're done. We'll close that. We can refresh this list since we made changes, and now we've got another report definition. From the report definition list, we can preview a report. First, select the report, then click the preview button, and the preview window will appear. Let's maximize it, and as you can see, this new definition we created, the title changed, and the date range is several days, which represent last week, and there's a ribbon toolbar with many options to do things with this report, and a list of the parameters and their values. Let's look at the reports we just created. From the View menu, if you choose Reports, you can see that there are two options here, List and Carousel. These correspond to the icons that show up on the Browse Reports block on the navigator. Let's first look at the carousel view. This view shows you each report definition in kind of a carousel format. And what's nice about this is if we had descriptions, we would see the descriptions here, but you could also see a thumbnail. And if I click the Update Image button, it prompts me, do we want to create the image by running the report? I'll click yes. And what happens is the report actually gets run, the first page gets captured, and it becomes a thumbnail. And now as you're browsing through these reports, you can see what the report looks like. In fact, if you click on the zoom image for whatever report you have, that first page will show up in whatever image software you have on your machine. So that's the carousel. The report list is similar in capabilities, but it's simply a list and grouped by categories. And we haven't assigned any categories to these two reports, so nothing's showing up. Well, let's add one of our reports, and we can of course preview print to the report, but let's add it to the queue, because what we want to do is we want to schedule this report to occur every night based on the previous day's report, so the report's available in the repository. So we're going to choose to run this at let's run it at 2 a.m. in the morning, and we'll save it as a PDF, although we have a choice of several different formats. We'll put it in this folder here, which is our default depository, and we'll simply add it to the queue. Now it's in the queue. We can look at it. There's also a queue list here, and there's a calendar view, and we're going to click on the calendar view because what we want to do is schedule the recurrence of this. So let's go, we're looking at today's view. Here's the report we just added. I'm going to double click on that, and modify the recurrence so that it occurs, and we're going to do it weekly so we can choose the days we want it to run. Well, we're going to run on Tuesday morning, which will have Monday's results, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Again, Saturday morning will have Friday's results. We won't have any end date, and I'll just say OK. And we can close this form. And now this report is scheduled in a recurrence fashion to run every day. And let me change the view here to a monthly view. And we can see that that report shows up running on every day in the month based on what we just programmed. Now that we have a report in the queue, we need to get the queue running with the report processor. You can do that manually by pressing the Process Queue button here on the navigator. But that will only process the queue as long as the program is open and you're logged onto the machine. The preferred way to do it is to run the report processor service. This is a separate service that runs in the background, does not require you to be logged on at all. And you can set that up by clicking on the Report Processor Service button. We can see the service is stopped right now. The only thing we want to do is how often does it want to check the report queue. And this has to do with how often you are going to add things. 10 minutes might be sufficient. It depends on what your particular needs are. And we hit the Start button. And now that service is running, and it will just continue to run in the background until you stop it here. The report processor service also has the ability to receive incoming emails, and if you set up the fields here on this form, you can have the report processor service check email on a periodic basis. And this is one of the powerful features of the software, is you can request reports through an email. The report processor will create the report and send an email back to you with the report as an attachment. More of that will be covered in a separate video. Anyway, we're all set now. Thanks for watching the video.